After 5 years of renting this 100-year-old house, we finally bought it. But now comes the hard part, fixing everything. Here's how we ended up here and what we're planning next. Quick backstory about this house. We started renting this house in March of 2020, the week that the pandemic began. A lot of craziness that week. Now, we had moved from Pittsburgh. We are originally from New Jersey, but we were living in Pittsburgh at the time for Bernard's job. We were trying to get back to New Jersey. My dad knew that and found out about this house. He called me, told me, hey, I think I found a house for you. It's right around where he used to live, so we were very familiar with the area. He ended up FaceTiming us to show us the house. I was not a fan of how outdated this house was. Had blue carpet, the kitchen is not so pretty, and it's on the smaller side, but the fact that it was only $1,200 in rent, and for 2020 for a house, that was amazing. And then we found out that our kids would go to the same school that they had went to before we moved to Pittsburgh. So that's kind of what sold us, the fact that our kids would be able to go back to their old school. We really wanted that for them because Pittsburgh was a pretty big transition for them. So once we came back to New Jersey, we drove by. We knew that the house had a backyard, but we didn't know that it had a whole side yard. And we immediately fell in love because me and Bernard, we always grew up in townhouses and apartments. We never really had a yard. So to be able to give that to our kids, we love that. This house immediately felt like home, regardless of the condition that it was in, regardless of the fact that it needed work. Something about this house has always felt home. And we knew very early on that we wanted to purchase this house. And my dad even said, this would be like the perfect starter house for you guys. So in 2025, we finally made that happen. I truly believe like my dad somehow made this happen for us, and my landlord, we got this house for a steal. I don't even know if I want to say how cheap we got this house for. Before our landlord bought this house, this was a foreclosure. So I believe that is why it's in the condition that it is in, and it has just not been given the love that it deserves. This is a 1921 Cape Cod. So now let me share what we plan on doing with this house. First things first is our roof. Yes, needs to get done. It has moss on it. There is stuff growing out of our gutters, which our gutters are also going to be replaced because why is there a downspout in the middle? I have no idea. It needs to be on the end. When it comes to our porch is bellying in the middle, as you guys can see, and that is because underneath those two middle posts, all the wood is rotten. I didn't realize how expensive this porch would be, but it's gonna cost a pretty penny. Originally, we were gonna do cement, but cement would mean that we would have to bring in dirt. So we decided to just go with Trex. Everything's going to be replaced with Trex. So this porch is gonna look very pretty. The beam is going to get replaced. The 6 posts are gonna be replaced, but they're gonna be wrapped because we have a lot of problems with carpenter bees, carpenter ants. At one point, this house had a problem with termites. Now look at those steps. Look how crooked they are. They've just, over the years, have become more and more crooked. We trip every time we hit that last step. These are also going to be replaced. This pond is going very, very soon. That gray color that is on the base of the house, that will be changing. Why it's gray, the house is tan, and the roof is red, no idea. I'm probably going to be painting the base of the house myself. Do I want to go with a very light color, like a white, or do I want to go with like a deep brown color? The house I do want to be white. Probably going to go bright on the door, but I do want the house to be white. I don't care. Say what you want. I'm going for a cottage look. Now on the side of the house, I can show you more of the roof. A lot of the fascia is going to be replaced, but those boards and all the peeling paint, unfortunately, that's gonna have to wait for a painter. The siding, I will wash. This is staying for now. Once we do the addition, which I'll talk more about later, then we will replace all of the siding. So here we have the garage. The garage roof is also going to be replaced. We have a lot of missing boards. We are preparing for a lot of rotten wood. This door is actually an interior door that they use for an exterior door. This is probably a door that was from the inside of the house. It is hanging by one hinge. It recently broke, but this is going to be replaced. As well as this window is fine, but we're replacing a window on the other side. This window is original to the garage. It is a wooden window, but as you can see, it is broken. In the back of the house, we don't have any gutters. We have a lot of rotten wood. Again, all going to be replaced. Not a fan of this gate. If you look at the back of this porch, we have a DIY situation happening with this roof. We don't know if we are keeping this as a game day decision as far as what we're gonna decide what to do with. It really depends on what everything looks like when they take off the shingles. Now, if you look at these stairs, when the front porch gets done, these back stairs are going to be taken down. These are actually concrete stairs. Again, a DIY situation. If you look closely, they are cracking. That wasn't always like that. That happened more recently, probably because this winter we had a lot of rain, a lot of snow. They got really icy and we put a lot of salt on them because I fell really hard on them. Now we're dealing dealing with them cracking. So they're a safety hazard. They gotta go. They're gonna be replaced also, I believe, with trucks. This side of the house, this is where our well is going to be, right where that blue flag is. For the well, we're just waiting on our permit from the state, and then we can schedule that to get done. I would have liked that to get done before we do the basement, but it looks like the basement might end up being done before. Let's go to the basement. We have some pretty shady stairs. Here's what we got going on down here. I'm not a fan of coming down here, and that is mostly because it stinks. It smells. For one, it smells like dirt because on this side of the wall is a crawl space because that was an addition at some point. Can smell the mustiness. There's a lot of moisture down here, which we are getting a dehumidifier, and this insulation stinks. We already started cleaning out this basement, but we ran out of room in our dumpster, so we kind of put this on pause until we get a new dumpster. I already started getting rid of the insulation, which it looks better than I thought it would, with the exception of in here. We have a lot of rotten wood on this edge, which is actually where the porch is. But here is our well equipment. This is a jet pump. As you can see, it's very rusty. Last June, this thing gave us a lot of problems. It would just continuously run, which you don't want because then it's going to overheat. But just like if any tiny specks of dirt get in that thing, it will mess it up and it will continuously run. But that is why we're replacing the well, because new wells already have a pump in them that will help the water pressure significantly. Once that is done, we will be getting an actual water filtration system because I don't know what this thing is. Unfortunately, while renting this house, a lot of things, yes, would be fixed, as in the problem wouldn't continue, but it really wouldn't be fixed. For example, if we had a water leak, the drywall wouldn't get fixed, or the cabinet wouldn't get fixed or replaced. Sure, that the problem stopped, but so that was a very frustrating thing to deal with while living here. I know a lot of new homeowners complain about having to fix things, but when you're renting from someone that doesn't fix the whole problem, it's just like, yo, I'd rather just deal with it myself and do it my way, or actually hire someone that's going to do it properly. I'm so glad to finally be fixing things. A big problem in this basement is this French drain system. This French drain system should be along the perimeter. So that way when the water table is very high, the water can seep in through the drain that is along the perimeter and then get sucked out by this pump. Now, if you look closely, that bucket, that crock, is a Home Depot bucket. Well, something like a Home Depot bucket. It's just another DIY situation. And this pump doesn't even work properly. A lot of the water just falls back inside. It doesn't properly get pushed outside. So it's part of the moisture problem down here. We live in an area with a high water table. A lot of people deal with the same issue in this area, but have a proper French drain system. So that is a must. We are also getting a dehumidifier system. That is happening the last week of June. The basement company that we are working with is also going to biowash the walls. I think I'm also going to have them biowash the ceiling as well. I hope that significantly helps the smell. In the crawl space, they're going to put down a vapor barrier, and that will also help with the smell because it smells like dirt. Dirt, yes, does have a smell. Once those two things are done, so July, we can finally get a washer and dryer down here, which will be right in between our electrical box and these tanks. When I tell you, I cannot wait to start washing clothes again. For the past 5 years, Bernard has been washing our clothes. He actually does our whole family's laundry, takes them to the laundromat. He's actually going today, and he's been washing them. So that way I don't have to do it, because the laundromat that he goes to or used to go to was kind of sketchy, and he didn't want to put me in that position. So he's just been doing it. But once we get a washer and dryer, I don't mind. I'm going to be doing it. That is going to be amazing. I have my eyes on a Speed Queen washer and dryer. Now let's talk about what we're doing to the back of the house. We're going to do a 14-foot addition back here, which will allow us to have a bigger kitchen. Our kitchen will then be 14 feet, and we'll have a primary bedroom and bath, which will make our house 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It will bring the house to about where this window is, I believe. We are going to be documenting this whole process. Some of this is going to be DIY. Some of this is going to be hired out. There's going to be things that go wrong. I'm scared to find more things wrong with this house. We did get an inspection. That's actually how we got this house for as cheap as we did. In the next video will be our roof and hopefully our porch getting done. I don't know if my contractor is doing both at the same time. I'll find out later today when he comes. But if you love a good transformation, be sure to subscribe. I'm going to be, like I said, documenting this whole process. If you don't see me on YouTube, you will definitely find me on TikTok.